What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to change the gear oil in your Toyota MR2. Changing out the fluid is pretty basic and all you need is some hand tools, jack and jack stands. So you obviously need the fluid. I always get a pump because that makes it easier. A breaker bar or impact wrench to take off the rim. You then need your wrench and 24 mil socket along with a 10 mil socket. In addition, you definitely want to get some crush washers. Let's quickly touch on the manual transmission fluid that I picked. So I ended up getting Valvoline 80/90 weight. It's honestly the cheap stuff. The reason I got this type of oil is that it's really close to the OE specifications. I know the OE specification is 75/90 and it needs to be GL4 compatible. This is an 80/90, so it's close enough, and I mean, it's a S54 transmission. It's nothing special. It's not like it sees a lot of power, so cheap stuff is good enough for me. Now, if you had like an E153, that's the turbo trans with an LSD in it, I'd tell you to go the extra mile and get some better quality oil. If you have any more questions or comments, you can leave them down in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them, although I'm definitely not an expert on this stuff. I'm just a guy who knows how to Google things. So now on to the first step. You want to jack up the car. For those who are curious where to jack the back up from, the subframe right here is a good spot. For those who are curious about the front jacking point, just look for this little circle here. Under this plastic tray, there is a metal, I guess bar, maybe subframe would be the right word, where the steering rack attaches to, and it's really strong and you can jack up the car there. Now that we got the car on jack stands, it's super important that everything is level. You want the car level because when you go to fill up the transmission, if it's leaning one way or the other, it could cause the car to be underfilled or overfilled. Next step is taking the tire off. Pro tip, if you don't have a impact gun like this and or your e-brake's not working very well, I would recommend loosening up these bolts before you put the car up. Maybe I'm just a little OCD about certain things, but I always like to put cardboard underneath. It makes it easier to clean up your mess, and it also minimizes the stains on the ground. So next thing we'll do is remove this plastic tray here. Removing the plastic tray is not actually necessary, but it makes it considerably easier to get to this bolt. Okay, we can now take off the filler bolt, which is the top one, and then down here, right here is the drain bolt. So I really recommend taking off the filler bolt first, because if you take off the drain bolt and then you can't undo the filler bolt, well, you're kind of screwed. So this kind of saves you in a worst case scenario. Okay, there's one. Ooh, that's gross. Now, if you want to make it flow faster, take off that top bolt. It'll come out nice and smooth. Boom. So what I do to fill the fluid up is I put this top hose into here. The bottom hose goes into the transmission, and then I just pump it in. Doing it this way takes all of like a minute or two, and I'll know when the transmission is full because it will literally just start coming out. To give you guys a peek, you can see that the fluid's starting to drop out. So when I pull this out, it's gonna start coming out. And then you just put the bolt in. That's really all to it. Now that the bolt's back on, I literally put the under tray on, put the rim back on, and the car's good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the car back together off camera. I won't show that. I feel like it's a little redundant. One pro tip I definitely will give is that once you turn the car back on, just check to make sure that nothing's leaking. It's not out of the question to say that maybe you just didn't tighten the bolt enough and things leak. I've honestly done that before, so it's really not a big deal. I hope someone found this video helpful. Definitely stay tuned though, guys. In the next couple weeks, we got some pretty cool things happening hopefully, if everything goes well. So catch you guys in the next video.